Do you still believe that someone irritates you? That it's the other person's words, their gestures, their silence, that they steal your peace? Poor you. You still live as an emotional beggar, waiting for the world to treat you as you wish. Hear me well. No one has that power over you. When someone gets under your skin, it's not them who triumphs, you're the one who surrenders. Anger, resentment, offense. These are all confessions disguised as weakness. Only those who remain captive react. The free spirit is not cold, it is sovereign. It doesn't need to control the world, it no longer belongs to it. If you need to be understood in order to have peace, then you don't have peace. You wear a leash fashioned from compliments, likes, and applause from audiences you don't even respect. The true creator, who sculpts himself into a living masterpiece, doesn't live to please anyone. He doesn't ask for applause, he despises it. Whoever seeks external validation is a slave to appearances and dies a little every time he's ignored. True self-esteem is silent, and that is why it scares. It doesn't shine, it emanates. It doesn't demand, it simply is. And if this truth hurts you, perhaps it's time to stop begging for approval and start forging your own greatness. The more you try to protect your image, the more it becomes a prison. Do you live in fear of being misunderstood? Of seeming rude, cold, arrogant? Then I tell you, you are already chained. Reputation is the vanity addict's drug. It intoxicates at first, but corrodes the soul later. Only the one who can afford to be seen poorly and still stand tall is free. Those who judge you would never truly understand you, and those who do need no explanation. The strong man allows himself to be hated if necessary, because he knows that integrity is not decorative. It is lonely, but invincible. Learn to withdraw. Learn to vanish without drama, without speeches, without guilt. There are places that rot your soul in silence, relationships that drain your power while they smile, and you stay, justifying, explaining, tolerating. Foolishness. True power is saying enough and disappearing as if closing a sacred door. Absence is the language of those who respect themselves. No one needs to understand your departure. It is eloquent enough on its own. Whoever needs an audience to leave has not yet left. Whoever needs to justify their exit still hopes to be convinced to stay. The weak flare up. The strong distance. Are themselves. This is the truth nobody told you because no one profits from your autonomy. The market needs you to feel offended. Religion needs you to feel guilty. Politics needs you to feel betrayed. And you run like a dog chasing every provocation. Do you think that's being human? That's being domesticated. He who masters his own impulses masters everything. To be free is not to do whatever you want. It's not reacting to every poke. The peace of the superior spirit is unsettling because it is inexplicable. It doesn't argue, it suffices. Like this video if you can still stand this kind of truth. If not, you may go. There's already too much consolation in the world. We don't sell comfort here. We ignite the furnace of the spirit. And if you're still with me, subscribe to this channel. Not to follow content, but to remind you every time you come here that your soul deserves more than the emotional swamp you were taught to live in. May each video be a slap, and each slap an invitation to greatness. Because greatness isn't taught, it demands itself. Let's move on. You were trained to feel guilt for prioritizing yourself, trained by guilt-ridden mothers, by domesticating schools, by religions that sell heaven in exchange for your self-erasure. But listen, no one who expects your emotional surrender loves you, they only consume you. True respect is born when you stand up, not when you kneel. And when you withdraw from a place that sickens you, without resentment and without justification, that is not selfishness, it is sovereignty. The silence of one who leaves with dignity is worth more than 1,000 speeches from those who cling out of cowardice. Want to know if someone is truly strong? See how they deal with absence. See if they need to explain everything, to respond to everything, to justify themselves all the time. The strong do not explain. They just are. And when they leave, they don't slam the door. They close it with class. The peace they build is not made of external calm, but of internal integrity. It's a system, not a moment, and that's why it endures. True peace does not fear conflict. It overcomes it effortlessly. The weak flee war out of fear. The strong reject war because they have already conquered themselves. Look around you. Everyone in a hurry, everyone inflamed, everyone ready to explode at the slightest sign of disagreement. We live in the age of pathological sensitivity, where any opinion becomes an offense, any silence becomes an attack, and any boundary becomes a lack of empathy. But I tell you, it's not a lack of empathy, it's an excess of dignity. What has value in itself doesn't contort to please. The strong don't need to raise their voice. Their presence already changes the room. Their absence already screams. Their self-control is an insult to those who live out of control. And you? Have you noticed how others' reactions shape you? Have you perceived how a stranger's gaze can determine your mood? If so, then understand, you are not yet a complete human being. You are an unfinished project dependent on others' approval to breathe in peace. Freedom begins when no one else dictates your inner state. When you look in the mirror and know who you are, even if the whole world calls you by another name. And that, my friend, is the beginning of the most dangerous revolution, the one that happens within you, quietly, but with irreversible consequences. Most claim to seek peace, lie. Most seek distraction, an emotional narcotic, to numb the wound of never having faced themselves head-on. True peace is not the absence of pain, it is the presence of structure. It's when external chaos knocks at your door and you greet it with a serene gaze, because inside you are a fortress. But for that, you must rebuild the foundations. Stop outsourcing blame, stop seeking validation, stop begging for love. You must die to that needy version they created in you and be reborn as your own rock. There is a price for this, freedom, and it is high, that of solitude, because few can endure the shine of someone who doesn't need an audience. To be free is to be strange in the eyes of the domesticated. They will call you cold, arrogant, insensitive, but what they are really saying is, I can't control you, so I need to invalidate you. And at that moment you will have two options: bow your head to be accepted or raise your soul to be sovereign. Choose. And know this, the first gives you companionship, the second gives you peace. Every time you explain yourself to be accepted, you sell a piece of your freedom. Every time you bow to keep an image, you betray your own integrity. And when you fall silent out of fear of conflict, you are not being mature, you are being weak. True maturity does not fear ruptures because it knows preserving oneself is more important than maintaining any artificial ties. It is not about being harsh out of pride, but about being whole out of principle. And that, understand, is non-negotiable. Inner peace does not come from yoga, nor from guided meditation with relaxing music in the background. It comes from the brutal courage to look inside and say, enough. Enough caring about those who never understood me. Enough living to maintain appearances. Enough carrying weights that aren't mine. And when that enough is spoken with a heart ablaze, there is no turning back. It is the moment you become unforgivably free, and those who lose you because of it never truly had. He who builds his peace like a castle does not fear storms. He learns to close the windows, reinforce the gates, and above all, not to shout in the midst of the gale. The hysteric seeks applause. The calm evokes silence. You may notice, the truly strong speak little, but their presence imposes itself, because their peace is not a pose, it is armor. It was not inherited, it was sculpted, and every insult they don't answer is another brick in that castle. Every drama-free withdrawal, every no uttered without hesitation, is a shout of sovereignty against the world that wanted them submissive. And what a wonderful irony. The more you suffice yourself, the more the world chases you. Because your independence is a threat to those who live off others' approval. They can't stand you because your freedom exposes them. They don't understand you because your peace confronts them. But it is not your mission to be understood. It is your mission to be true. And if that requires losing friends, status, praise, then lose everything but never lose yourself. The elevated spirit's peace is a public offense, and it should be. For living in peace in a world that profits from your chaos is an act of rebellion. If you've made it this far, congratulations. That means you still have something inside you that the world couldn't kill, the capacity to endure unfiltered truth. Most turn off the video within the first minutes, offended at the suggestion that they are weak, controllable, emotional slaves, but you didn't. You stayed. So listen, now that you know you can no longer pretend, you can't blame others for your lack of control, you can't call addiction love, nor call escape peace. You know, and that forces you to change or condemns you to conscious lies. If you can't stand this kind of truth, maybe it's time to leave, but if you can, like this video and stay with me. Subscribe to the channel if, like me, you prefer the pain of lucidity to the comfort of illusion. Here we don't sell self-esteem, we forge character. Here there are no pats on the back, there is a hammer. And if its sound scares you, it's because you're still too attached to the shell. But if that sound wakes you, then welcome. The world is rotten with masks. We need more naked souls. The day will come when you enter a room and no longer feel the need to be accepted. When you look into the eyes of those who belittle you and feel neither anger nor pity, only distance. That is the day you become dangerous. Not because you harm, but because you don't depend. Not because you shout, but because you don't need to be heard. You have already become whole within yourself, and that is enough. Those who remain by your side at this stage will do so not out of convenience, but out of affinity and greatness. Of course, you will miss the illusion. Returning to unconsciousness is tempting, like the warmth of the womb to one who doesn't want to be born. But true life demands the cut, and when it is made, you will understand. It's not about always winning, but about never selling yourself again. It's not about being right, but about keeping your soul clean before the mirror. And that mirror, that mirror never lies. In it, you will see the only person you must reconcile with every day, yourself. At last we reach the final frontier, peace as a system, no longer as an exception, no longer as a dream, but as a natural state. This peace neither shouts, nor convinces, nor displays itself. It simply is, and because it is, it unsettles, transforms, expels the false, and attracts those who resonate at the same frequency. You will not become untouchable, but rather unreachable, because everything they try against you will meet only an invisible wall. Your clarity, your presence, your decision not to be a plaything of your own emotions any longer. You have become king of your own territory, and you do not yield that throne for any applause. Now go, but go differently. Go with this hammer in your chest and this silence in your eyes. Go and dismantle the lies they taught you about being strong, about being loved, about being accepted. Build your peace like a fortress, your no like a sword, your absence like a message. And when they ask you why you changed, smile and calmly say, because I became dangerous, not to others, but to the old me who crawled for crumbs. This video was not made to please. It was made to awaken. If you have awakened, then you already know what to do.